All right, guys, welcome back, man. Appreciate you tapping back in with your boy locking in. I did want to address one of the top questions that I get with regard to this box truck game. So people ask me, why did you go the box truck route? Like, why box trucks over, you know, 53 footers or, tractor trailers, things like that. So for me, it really came down to a few key things. And we'll discuss them here in this particular video. So before we do that, man, make sure you tap in, lock in with your boy, like, comment, subscribe. I'm definitely going to be again dropping a lot of gems. So let's get into it. Non-CDL was the number one reason for me going into the box truck game. So um, any vehicle that is 26,000 pounds or less um, is considered non-CDL. You do not have to have a commercial driver's license. So which ties into the second point as to why I went into the box truck um, realm versus going tractor trailer was speed to market. So when I left corporate America, I wanted to be able to, immediately get my company up and running from a box truck standpoint compared to, a tractor trailer, which means that, um, again, I didn't need a CDL. So all I needed to do was acquire the equipment. The company was already established. I started it in 2018. So all I needed to do was acquire the equipment because it didn't require CDL. I myself could drive, and that would put me in the market and rolling very, very fast. So um, that was one of the other key reasons. So speed to market was another reason. Um, in addition to that, though, so having more control of my business was also a key reason. When I think about some of the heartache that I had initially starting out, again, I started my company in 2018 and I purchased a semi truck. I purchased an 18 wheeler and I didn't know how to drive it. So it really required that I lean a lot on my driver to do things such as take it in for maintenance or, you know, um, any little miscellaneous thing I had to pay somebody to do. Ask a friend, pay a friend, hey, can you take it to the truck wash? I'll pay you $100, whatever the case may be. So it really caused me to have to, you know, invest a lot of extra money into paying for, miscellaneous trips. And also, it took a lot of the control that I had out of my business. I was really dependent upon a driver, their work ethic, their professionalism. Um, all of that came into play with regard to, how they treated the customer, things that could really impact your money when you're talking about driving revenue from a trucking standpoint. So, I have a host of different horror stories and things on the semi truck side that I experienced, just not really having full control over my business. So that was something that I was really looking forward to exploring on the box truck side, being it that I could drive myself, that I could walk in these doors, shake hands, meet the right people, hand out business cards, and, attempt to generate clients. So, having more control of the business was definitely a big, big driving point for me. The reason having control and more control of your business is important is because you do not want to be in a position where the success of your company is solely dependent upon someone else. And in this trucking game, in order to expand, to grow, if you want a fleet of vehicles, you will have to place your trust in others. You will have to hire drivers and staff and dispatchers and things of that nature. Um, so there are instances where you're going to depend on other people in order for your business to thrive. But if that's not your business model, then again, you still have more control of your business. Um, we completely oftentimes underestimate professionalism, right? So what one driver may do while on site at a shipper may greatly impact your business, right? So they may not have the greatest day, they may have a bad attitude, um, and say something to someone who's a decision maker, and then they can easily opt to never have that driver or never have your company come back and conduct business with them again. So, things that may seem very, very simple goes a long way in this industry. So, you really have to be mindful when it comes to the level of control you have in your business because, you know, that can be the end all be all if you have a driver who says the wrong thing to the wrong person or to the right person. And then from a practicality side, we talk about just freight versatility. So what I mean by freight versatility is having the ability to haul anything that fits within side of that box truck. It's an enclosed space, so you're not really impacted by weather. Um, if that freight works and fits within the dimensions of that box, you can essentially haul that freight. Last but definitely not least, this is probably as I've grown in trucking, I've come to learn that this is probably one of the more impactful reasons, but maintenance. So on my on both of my box trucks, I have a Ford F750. I have a International 4300. Both run a Cummins ISB 6.7 liter engine. So those engines very, very versatile, very, very resilient. So 90% of the work that needs to be done on that truck or on those trucks, I can do myself. I'll post a few videos of, you know, and pictures of just, small jobs that I've done from fan clutch to belt tensioners to EGR valve cleanings, things like that. So maintenance in this game is one of the things that can make or break you. I have horror stories of um, paying upwards of over $25,000 to repair a motor on my semi truck, where the mechanic was actually lying to me, saying that these things were needed when they actually weren't, and then he did none of the work. So having a vehicle where I can, get in there myself and essentially do the work was also another very, very appealing pillar for me with regard to going with the box truck. So I would say choosing box trucks over semis for me has been a great choice. You know, um, I wasn't someone who wanted to go out and get a commercial driver's license. There's a lot of different regulatory things with that that you have to do from a business standpoint and even from a driver standpoint, as opposed to non CDL box trucks. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. What I'm saying is that this was the best route for me, for my business. I did try the other route. And this has been something that's been pretty fruitful for me. So I really do hope that you guys got a lot from the video today. I try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. But again, lock in with me. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and we'll be back at you with another one. Have a good one.